Hello everyone, it's your favorite teacher. Yes, this is the last workbook exercise of this book. This is the American English File, 2nd edition, Book 3 Workbook, Part 10b, 2 Crime Stories. But before we do this, make sure to like and subscribe. And at the same time, share this to a friend who needs to learn English. Let's have fun. The first set of exercises: vocabulary, crime. Complete the text. As always, let's do the first exercise together, me and you. I've got your back. Detectives are investigating a murder in Millbrook. The victim is a 26-year-old man whose body was found last night next to a quiet back road. No evidence was found at the scene, and police are appealing to witnesses who saw the man yesterday to help them with their investigation. They believe that the murderer was someone known to this man. All right? The main suspects are the man's roommate, his girlfriend, and a neighbor. These people are currently being interviewed by the police in an attempt to solve the crime. A police spokesperson said that they had a theory, but so far they had been unable to prove who had committed the crime. Well, the first one was easy, but the next challenge is all yours. Part 2. Grammar questions. Do you remember that battery that I showed you? Yes. For example, look. You live in Seattle, don't you? So this is a positive sentence, so the tag question should be negative. Circle the correct answer, and in B, complete the tag questions. For example, number 1, Adam's living with his parents now, isn't he? All right, stop the video, take your time, and do it yourself. I'll be waiting. All right, very good. If you have done it, check your answers with your friends, as always. Very good. Now let's do it with me. Number 2. But you weren't born in Seattle. Were you? You moved to Seattle when you were 10, didn't you? That means you've been living here for 20 years, haven't you? But you're moving to Los Angeles next week, aren't you? Your brother lives in Los Angeles, doesn't he? You've been in prison before, haven't you? I guess you'd like to call your lawyer now, wouldn't you? All right, very good. That was so easy. Part B. You don't like animals, do you? It isn't difficult, is it? He drives a van, doesn't he? They left yesterday, didn't they? Kathy hasn't been home for over a week, has she? I'm late, aren't I? You'll see him tomorrow, won't you? And that's all there is to it for the grammar part. Follow me. Part 2. Pronunciation. Intonation in tag questions. My friends, I just need you to listen and repeat. All right? Try to copy the rhythm. Let's go.
File 10B. Pronunciation. A. 1.
You called her last night, didn't you?
2.
He's older than you, isn't he?
3.
They aren't coming, are they?
4.
You'd like to visit Paris, wouldn't you?
5.
She'll be late, won't she?
6.
I can't dance very well, can I?
All right, very good. Now everybody, I need you to write the words in the box in the correct column. Bird, murderer, boot, ooh, up, ah. Take your time and do it. And now, I just need you to listen. If you have done it, listen and check.
File 10B. Pronunciation. C. 1.
Bird, murder, hurt, weren't.
2.
Boot. Brutal. Prove. Truth.
3.
Up, suspect, discover, Suddenly.
All right, and that's all there is to it. You're great. All the way to my favorite part. Everybody, this is an extract from the book called The 39 Steps. All right, now I need you to read the first part and answer this question. The question is, where does Hannay first think Scudder is from? So I need you to read and answer this simple question. There's England, Norway, the US, and Greece. I'll be waiting.
A few moments later.
Okay, let's read it together. Introduction. Richard Hannay, the narrator, has just returned to London from Africa. A mysterious man called Franklin Scudder appears outside his flat one night and tells Hannay about a group of people who he met who are trying to push Europe towards a war. He believes only the Greek Prime Minister, Constantine Karolides, can stop the war. Karolides will be in London soon. And Scudder believes there's a plan to kill him then. Scudder believes he can stop this plan, but only if people think he's dead. Part 1. I was beginning to like this strange little man. I gave him another drink and asked him why he thought he was now in danger himself. He took a large mouthful. I came to London by a strange route, or route, some people say. Through Paris, Hamburg, Norway, and Scotland. I changed my name in every country, and then when I got to London, I thought I was safe. There's a man watching this building, and last night somebody put a card under my door. On it was the name of the man I fear most in the world. So I decided I had to die. Then they would stop looking for me. So he needs to die, so they think that, okay, he's dead, we shouldn't look for him. I got a dead body. It's easy to get one in London if you know how, and I had the body brought to my flat in a large suitcase. The body was the right age, but the face was different from mine. I dressed it in my clothes and shot it in the face with my own gun. My servant will find me when he arrives in the morning, and he'll call the police. I've left a lot of empty bottles in my room. The police will think that I drank too much and then killed myself. He paused. I watched from the window until I saw you come here, and then came down the stairs to meet you. It was the strangest of stories. However, in my experience, the most extraordinary stories are often the true ones. And if the man just wanted to get into my flat and murder me, why didn't he tell a simpler story? Right, I said. I'll trust you for tonight. I'll lock you in this room and keep the key. Just one word, Mr. Scudder. I believe you're honest, but if you're not, I should warn you that I certainly know how to use a gun. Certainly, he answered, jumping up. I'm afraid I don't know your name, sir, but I would like to thank you, and could I use your bathroom? When I saw him next, half an hour later, I didn't realize him at first. Only the bright eyes were the same. His beard was gone and his hair was completely different. He walked like a soldier and he was wearing glasses. And he no longer spoke like an American. Mr. Scudder, I cried. Not Mr. Scudder, he answered. Captain Theophilus Digby of the British Army. Please remember that. Interesting. I made him a bed in my study and went to bed myself, happier than I had been for the past month. Interesting things did happen sometimes, even in London. Great. Now all the way back to our question. So where does Hannay first think Scudder is from? Well, you guessed it right. The United States, because of the American accent. But we're not done yet. Follow me. Now, I need you to read it again and answer these questions from 1 to 8. Choose A, B, or C. For example, the man took a strange route to London because C. He didn't want anybody to find him. You know the drill. The rest is yours.
A few minutes later.
We did number 1. Let's do number 2. The person who sent him a card last night is an enemy. the man is pretending to be dead because A. He wants people to stop looking for him. Number 4, the narrator, Hane, trusts the man because his story is so complicated. Number 5, when the man went to the bathroom, he put on a disguise. Number 6, the man spent the night in Hane's apartment. Number 7, the man changes his name to British name. And number 8, Hane now thinks that something exciting can happen in London. Well, that was the first part of the story. Now we have to listen to the rest. Okay, it's getting interesting. I need you to listen to the rest of the story and tell me what happens to Mr. Scudder. Let's go.
File 10B. Listening.
The next morning, when my servant Paddock arrived, I introduced him to Captain Digby. I explained that the captain was an important man in the army, but he had been working too hard and needed rest and quiet. Then I went out, leaving them both in the flat. When I returned about lunchtime, the doorman told me that the gentleman in flat 15 had killed himself. I went up to the top floor, had a few words with the police, and was able to report to Scudder that his plan had been successful. The police believed that the dead man was Scudder, and that he had killed himself. Scudder was very pleased. For the first 2 days in my flat, he was very calm, and spent all his time reading and smoking, and writing in a little black notebook. But after that, he became more restless and nervous. It was not his own danger that he worried about, but the success of his plan to prevent the murder of Karolides. One night he was very serious. "Listen, Hane," he said. "I think I must tell you some more about this business. I would hate to get killed without leaving someone else to carry on with my plan." I didn't listen very carefully. I was interested in Scudder's adventures, but I wasn't very interested in politics. I remember that he said Karolides was only in danger in London. He also mentioned a woman called Julia Chechenyi. The next evening I had to go out. I was meeting a man I had known in Africa for dinner. When I returned to the flat, I was surprised to see that the study light was out. I wondered if Scudder had gone to bed early. I turned on the light, but there was nobody there. Then I saw something in the corner that made my blood turn cold. Scudder was lying on his back. There was a long knife through his heart, pinning him to the floor.
"Nathan, call 911.
All right, so he is murdered. Scudder was dead. But I need you to listen again and mark the sentences true or false. Let's get it.
File 10B. Listening.
The next morning, when my servant Paddock arrived, I introduced him to Captain Digby. I explained that the captain was an important man in the army, but he had been working too hard and needed rest and quiet. Then I went out, leaving them both in the flat. When I returned about lunchtime, the doorman told me that the gentleman in flat 15 had killed himself. I went up to the top floor, had a few words with the police, and was able to report to Scudder that his plan had been successful. The police believed that the dead man was Scudder, and that he had killed himself. Scudder was very pleased. For the first 2 days in my flat, he was very calm, and spent all his time reading and smoking, and writing in a little black notebook. But after that, he became more restless and nervous. It was not his own danger that he worried about, but the success of his plan to prevent the murder of Karolides. One night he was very serious. "Listen, Hane," he said. I think I must tell you some more about this business. I would hate to get killed without leaving someone else to carry on with my plan. I didn't listen very carefully. I was interested in Scudder's adventures, but I wasn't very interested in politics. I remember that he said Karolides was only in danger in London. He also mentioned a woman called Julia Chechenyi. The next evening I had to go out. I was meeting a man I had known in Africa for dinner. When I returned to the flat, I was surprised to see that the study light was out. I wondered if Scudder had gone to bed early. I turned on the light, but there was nobody there. Then I saw something in the corner that made my blood turn cold. Scudder was lying on his back. There was a long knife through his heart, pinning him to the floor.
And that's the way the cookie crumbles. All right, very good. But it's interesting, makes me want to read the book. So the narrator told his servant who Scudder really was the next morning it's false. Mr. Scudder's plan to pretend to commit suicide worked. Of course, Mr. Scudder was calm and relaxed all the time he was in Hannah's apartment. False. He gave Hannah more details about the plot to kill Karolides, or Karolides. I'm sorry, I'm very bad with names. True. Apart from Karolides, he mentioned one other person. True. And the study light was on when the narrator got home. False. Very good, everybody. And that's it for the last practice of this book, on Workbook, of course. As always, I have some useful words for you. Alibi, alibi, case, court, the defense, the dock of court, the prosecution, trial, plead guilty, plead innocent, swear on Bible, for example, be acquitted. And that's all there is to it. I need you to write sentences and compare your sentences with your friends. And there you have it, everybody. As always, if you have a question, you can comment down below, and I will try to get back at you as soon as possible. And I've also attached the slides for the whole series and for this session. Everybody, thank you for your support. I will try to do my best to come with you with the best content on English learning, and I will teach you as long as I live. I apologize if I look really tired. I am. I've been teaching all morning. And there you have it. Until next time, my friends, you are allowed to rest, but you are not allowed to quit. Remember that. Off.